Welcome back, everybody, to what could be our last game of the night. It is going to be Fnatic versus Na'Vi, game number 2. Na'Vi just crushing Fnatic in a quick 17-minute game. Before we jump into game number 2, though, I just want to give you a real quick attention to tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow. Later on into this game. Getting way ahead of myself. We're going to be doing a rare giveaway. So we're going to be raffling away some rares to everybody in the chat. Everybody can participate. You just got to say the right things. And so look for that to be happening sometime during the middle of this game. Ryan Ender is going to be running that whole thing. So let's go ahead. Now that that's over with, get ourselves into game 2 where we already have the draft underway. I can welcome in both Misery as well as Boba to game 2. What's going on, guys?
What up?
What's up?
So game number 1. Outline for me, I mean, that was just so one-sided, right? It was very little we could really say about that. It just felt like the draft was so ineffective for Fnatic. Did it really come all down to the draft, or was there some things that they could actually pull out with the draft that they had that they just failed to do?
I think the issue became, like you said as well, actually, the whole Fury and Void thing. First two, I don't think they made that work for them with the draft that they ended up with. I also think that those two first picks, I mean, it can definitely work, and it's definitely not weak at all. But it doesn't work with everything. You can't just go offensive and then have Void solo safe lane and expect everything to be fine. With Fear and mid, you need the right tri-lane. You need that tri-lane needs to crush the lane. If it doesn't crush the lane, then you're kind of in trouble because the other laners are fairly weak early on.
Mm-hmm. You have to run, when you run that lineup, you have to run it very specifically. You can't just pick like what Misery said. And you need a playmaker for your third core usually, because those two heroes need so much farm. You can't just pick a troll warlord, and you have 3 cores that just farm and don't really team fight that well without some items.
So if you're going to be running the troll with the Faceless Void, that can work as long as you're picking up like a really big playmaking offlaner or something like that.
I'm not a fan of those two together. I like
really?
the troll Furon isn't that bad. It's some good shit, but it's really dependent. I mean, it's all about the supports as well. The supports right now make the game. It's important because they support duos. What heroes you have for your support to find the lanes technically. When you have a Witch Doctor and a Wraith King, I'm not a huge fan of those two supports together, in my opinion. I know you can run in specific lineups. I know the Alliance ran it quite a bit when they had some Viper and they had this Witch Doctor healing up and some tanky Wraith King sieging a tower with the Viper attacking. It's impossible to kill these 3 heroes. But if you run it like that, these heroes need to be able to do stuff in the early game, and they weren't able to. So
yeah, with those 3 cores last game, they kind of needed some like highly mobile supports, like some Potom, Skywrath, or some shit like that. Then it maybe could have made it work, because then they would be the ones threatening the lanes early game. But in this scenario, this Razor could just play as passive as possible, and then have the Skywrath and Tyrion could pressure both other lanes, and there was nothing that Fnatic could really do about it because the supports are so immobile.
Right, and as we saw, I mean, the Razor was able to pretty much do whatever he wanted in that lane up until a point where he got just too overly aggressive. But whenever he was playing passive, you're right, he was perfectly fine. They couldn't really go for the dive. They even tried to go through some sort of sneaky eat through the trees gank, which was spotted out by the Warden that just failed miserably. So Fnatic, though, in Game 2 are going to be picking up something, well, hopefully a little bit different. They're going to start out with the Faceless Void. This time they're going to combine it with the Razor because they gave away Na'Vi the Lycan first pick. They went ahead and let that out into the pool. Jakiro's going to be the second pick up from Na'Vi. They already have the essence of what could be a very, very aggressive pushing strat for them already. The Tree and Protector might be able to mitigate some of that, but at the same time, if we have so much overwhelming push, the Living Armor might not be able to protect these towers at all. The Lycan first pick, though, I mean, is he still overpowered? Do you give that away, first pick, or is it just in generally one of those bad ideas unless you have a very specific strategy in mind?
5 seconds remaining.
I think you can play against Lycan. We've seen it recently as well. People even giving it away on Dire too, and then ending up winning quite early, or even winning late game and stuff. It's definitely possible to play against it. I guess it depends what team you're playing against and what team you are yourself too, and how you rate that hero and how you want to play against it. It depends a lot, I would say. Some teams are really good with Lycan, and some teams don't really play it so often.
So
I agree
Boba
with
then.
Rasmus, so I mean, it's like what he said. It's
Fnatic's
you give
turn
up
to
Lycan,
pick.
you need to have a plan versus him as well. It's like
Right.
that. You can't just give up a Lycan and give him some safe lane free farm with some two supports like some Rasta Lycan. You can't give these two heroes that much space because you're just gonna lose the game. They're just gonna take all the towers and the problem with this lineup I see is I know I'm sure Rasmus has Misery's played Tree is I hate playing Tree versus Jakiro. It's actually just so annoying because this Tree and armor does nothing versus Jakiro third spell. It's
10
literally quite
seconds
worthless.
remaining.
So it goes both ways as well. Treant's really strong on the early levels and can maybe
5
abuse
seconds
Jakiro's
remaining.
weakness in the laning phase, but in the mid game hits, it's very hard to defend these towers with Treant armor, which is I assume they
Reserve
want to do. But you don't really defend versus this Jakiro when it's going to use this liquid fire on your towers with Treant armor. It just goes away instantly. So
Right. Well, the second picking phase is now underway. We're going to see the Train Protector for Fnatic, obviously, but I love this third pack from Na'Vi. This is, in my opinion, beautiful. I love the Vengeful Spirit, always up against the Faceless Void, but in general, it's just a really good synergy hero with the Lycan, with the minus armor and increased damage. It gives them a little bit extra pushing power
10
as well.
seconds
It feels like the
remaining.
Vengeful Spirit is both a counter pick as well as has so much synergy with the
Na'Vi's
first two
turn
pickups
to
of
pick.
Na'Vi, but now an Ember Spirit for Fnatic, which could be played here by Matumbo Man. As you said, he's kind of the Finnish Sing Sing.
Sing Sing messaged me when I said that. He was slightly in.
What did he say?
I can't repeat the words.
Oh.
Actually, what he said.
Cole Sing Sing did.
He says he gave me he gave me 5 question marks.
10 seconds remaining.
All right. So I guess he didn't like the comparison too much.
5 seconds
But,
remaining.
It's supposed to be a compliment, Sing Sing.
I mean, but like you said that about Venge, but I see FNG picking Venge in every
Reserve
scenario.
time.
So
True, this
guy
is
has
true,
an
yeah.
obsession. I think he has like
Fnatic's
pictures of
turn
Venge
to
in his room
ban.
and shit. Like he actually loves this hero so much.
Even when he's not the one playing it, like back on Power Rangers, right? It was always run as a core, but it feels like this has to be a support as we now see a secondary hero here
That can
that
be a
can
carry
be.
Venge as well. That can be carry Venge. So
What you think both Jakiro
5
and
seconds
Warlock? Like
remaining.
I would seem like it'd be more likely to have the Jakiro or the
and-
Warlock be a core rather than
Yeah.
the Venge.
Reserve time.
yeah, who
I
knows?
think- I
5
personally think they're gonna
seconds
pick a
remaining.
funny hero last. And
Yep.
play Warlock Venge support and Jakiro carry.
Na'Vi's
But
So-
turn
I
to
don't know, I
ban.
feel like Fnatic could get into position this game too, as well as last game, with this Ember Spirit pick. I feel like the Treant pick could work out, like Boba said. I mean, you can abuse the early game, because that hero is really strong in lane. It also has been seen being good against Lycan,
Fnatic's
because of the
turn to
ultimate,
pick.
so that pick could work out, but I'm not sure what the thought behind it is with Ember Spirit. Now they end up with 3 cores once again that can't make any plays and can't move.
The problem, I mean, I think they picked this Ember because this guy loves this Ember as well. They're like,
Right.
a lot of, I think like 80% of the games I've seen him play Ember in every scenario. So I think it's
That's
some confidence boost. Yeah, I think that's a big reason.
10 seconds remaining.
But I don't like these 3 cores together. This Ember, Razor, and Void. I don't know. It could be
5
strong as well because this
seconds
Ember also makes so much space. Also, okay, they didn't pick a
Na'Vi's
Witch Doctor.
turn to pick.
So once again, they're going to try and get that support that combines really well with the Faceless Void. So what are we looking at here? Is this going to be defensive tri-lane around the Ember Spirit 1 position, mid-Razor, and a off-lane Faceless Void? I mean, I suppose much of it, the laning phase obviously depends on what the last pick is here for Na'Vi, since we actually don't know which one of these 3 heroes that all can be support, which one of them is going to be the core.
10 seconds remaining.
I seriously
5
doubt that
seconds
Venge is going to be the
remaining.
core. I mean, that you can always say for certain, because Warlock Jakiro support seems
Reserve time.
Fairly
10
random.
seconds remaining.
but yeah,
5
it's gonna be.
seconds remaining.
They can still do a lot of things. Yeah, but that is
The
Fnatic hero.
Fnatic hero. Yeah, right.
Yep.
So that means Havos actually picking up the Vengeful Spirit.
Holy shit! Seriously?
Boba, man.
Maybe they want to do save lane Darkseer and go offensive with Venge.
This is so. These
guess.
supports together are so like. I'm not a huge fan of Warlock and Jakiro supports, but I see this. They're just gonna go aggro try with the Venge, right? And they're gonna save them the Darkseer, like what
Yeah.
Misery said.
So this is a lane that has a lot of harassment, maybe not too much kill potential, but at the very least, like the Lycan in the mid matchup. I I mean, do they put the Ember Spirit mid in order to face up against Lycan and put the Razor up against the tri-lane because he is a
10
very
seconds
naturally strong
remaining.
3 versus 3 hero because of that plasma field? Is that their best bet here? Because
5
they got to
seconds
do some
remaining.
serious work in the laning phase, just like in Game 1, because as you guys were saying, they picked themselves a lot of carries that don't necessarily do a whole lot in the first 15 minutes of the game. Both Razor and Ember Spirit eventually come
Prepare
online,
for
but
battle.
in the first 15 to 20, they may not be able to have much of an impact, and Faceless Void certainly may not have any impact at all in the first 20.
Well, as Fnatic, from Fnatic's point of view, I would think that now we would go aggressive, but it doesn't look like it. They're gonna just send Darkseid offlane here, which is also a good choice because how the hell are they gonna keep that guy out of the lane? And if you're Navi and you think, okay, Fnatic, they kind of need to put the Razor safe lane in case we go offensive, because if we go offensive and they have a Void or Ember Spirit there, those heroes are not gonna get anything against the tri-lane.
Yeah.
So if they don't have the Ember safe lane, then the Darkseid is completely fine up there.
I love
so
the
think-
Darkseer pick actually. If you look at it, they have so much things you can combo with. This
Yeah, it's a really good pick for sure.
30 seconds.
We got the
to
Warlock
go.
Golem, Upheaval, Macro Pyre, Dual Breath. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
different things that works well with the two different supports they're going to be running. The Lycan being run in the mid lane, and it almost seems like FNG is going to maybe try and protect him a little bit in this mid lane, and they just really leave one support for this bottom lane. The Vengeful Spirit may not need that much extra support. He's going to be going up against a Faceless Void as the offlaner here. And Fnatic,
Yeah,
The battle
I think what
begins.
Navi should do is they should dual lane mid and bottom. I think they should. This Jakiro can solo zone the Void. And they can have this Warlock kind of dual lane mid and harass the Ember out. Because this Ember hero, if you can harass him out of the lane in the early game, you just have him give him less CS. He needs a lot of time to catch up. He doesn't farm that fast as other heroes. He can't push these lanes out fast. Yeah, he has his third spell, but it's not that efficient for farming and pushing these lanes out. So I think now, and another thing is you have to keep in mind which they are doing right now. That's sending Jakiro mid instead. But
so the
Darkseer's gonna have a free
2v2
lane top.
matchup.
yeah, the Darkseer are having a fun time top, I think.
Yeah, we already see Fnatic is actually losing a lot of his damage here, probably unnecessarily, as he's trying to pick up his level 2 for obvious reasons. As soon as he has that surge, as you guys said, there's no way for them to control him. They've just got the slow from the Treant Protector, and that's it, and that obviously won't be able to help out against the surge. Meanwhile, Boogie is going to have a much worse time because he's just going to be constantly harassed by Vanscore, who, the Warlock, I mean, the Warlock wasn't seen for so long, but is it just people are realizing how much Shadow Word has been buffed lately? I mean, it does 165 damage now, I think, at level 1, which outdoes the Thunder Strike of the Disruptor, which used to be like kind of one of the best level 1 harassing abilities in the game.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. The other thing is also just Upheaval is like, I don't know the cast range. Does it say? Does it?
Well,
Doesn't actually
but it's-
say.
It's
but it's
insanely
like
far, though.
insane. It's like 1200 range or some shit. It's like that, and then the Shadow Word, like you said, or Shadow Word, Fatal Bonds. I mean, all his skills are so
Phoenix
good.
and
Oh,
top.
Fnatic, yep, Fnatic is going to be chased down. They just need a little bit of extra reveal. Trixie will get that last hit, and the tower not quite enough to be able to finish him off, as it will change aggro onto Pause. And the Living Arbor will keep him very healthy. So despite the fact that we all kind of said, well, Darkseer should have a great time here in this top lane, it seems like Fnatic got a bit too aggressive, a bit too big for his own britches, and ends up giving away that coveted first blood to Fnatic.
Yeah, that death was quite bad, but there's several times where your offlaner can die, and if you put enough pressure in the enemy team where they miss some CS, etc., you do what he's doing right now, I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
His
look at
death is
this.
not that
Trixie
bad.
is so low. Funnic's going to try and trap him inside of the trees. And if he actually chooses the right path, he can kill Trixie. Trixie's going to eat his way through. Leech Seed helps him out a little bit more. And Funnic, well, he's going to take a lot
He's
of
gonna
extra
die,
tower
actually.
aggro.
He doesn't have boots.
Yeah, I think, well,
Maybe
no.
not.
Trixie not going to go for the extra dive there, despite the fact he had that boots advantage.
I don't think that. I think that death is like actually a good death. It sounds kind of dumb to say, but you play this offlaner and you can make you create a lot of chaos, and that's one of the things Funnic is actually really good at. He's good at knowing when to die, and that was a good death because he shunned. Razor missed so much CS during that engagement, and he got a lot of levels as well on the Darkseer. So.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of regen, which opened up an opportunity for Funnic to almost get a return kill. Bottom lane, Havos going to go on Boogie here, but just a stun And no extra Shadow Word damage from the Warlock as he'd already used it defensively. But yeah, you can see how Fnatic is just able to play so much more aggressively and get a lot of CS just because of some of that early aggression. And while he did give away first blood, he's certainly going to get a lot out of this off lane, way more than Boogie could ever dream of at this point. Havos may have just overextended himself. He's going to run into Hani in the side. They're going to turn this run around. The stun goes on to Boogie, and he's just going to get right-click down. Havos
Oh man.
picking up the 4 position, man.
Come on, man. I just wanted like Tab, and I assume know what the chat's gonna say.
Yeah,
I think we all know what
And now
the chat's gonna say.
Misery's a chat fiend lately because of Bulldog. So
yeah.
Lately, I don't know, man. On Mouse Sports, he was quite the chat fiend already. He just wasn't as vocal about it.
is that true, Rasmus?
Well, I always liked watching the Twitch tab more than the game, or like instead of watching in game.
Yeah. To this day, I still repeat what Misery said, which he said, the Twitch chat gets in your brain, and it just sort of infests in there, and it does things. And you look at his Twitter, man. He's got Twitch chat is my religion.
Sure did.
That's how serious he is about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Misery's Twitter is like half the responses about games and half of it's about how bad his pub games are.
Well, what else are you supposed to tweet about?
Yeah. I mean, you can tweet about hard work and dedication.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hashtag just Jimmy things.
Bottom tier 1 tower is going to be going down to the Liquid Fire, and there's going to be no attempt. Well, the cask going to bounce around the upheaval, already slowing him down. Finally, the cask ends here. They get the tower, but it's denied here by Hani. He claims that last hit. Host overextends himself once again. Just a couple of right clicks will be able to finish him off. Hani claims that one. FNG going to be taken down by Trixie, and the attempt to teleport away by Vanscore will be successful because there's no extra stunts, but still, Fnatic claiming now a couple extra kills and got the deny on that tier 1 tower. Seemed like they just completely overextended themselves into a beautiful cast there from Connie.
Yeah,
That was really big.
That was good. But now look what Navi's gonna do. The Jakiro did a good thing. He's gonna TP top and pressure this tower. So their game plan right now is they're just gonna keep pressuring towers. They're gonna, even if they die, if they get the tower trade in the end, it's not as bad. The big thing about that last engagement was Hani got the deny off. I think that was the biggest thing there.
Because so much of their lineup does depend on beginning to snowball with that tower gold, and if that's kind of limited by denies, they're going to be hurting. But you can see already the early push has done a ton of damage to this tier 1 tower, as the Darkseer is able to just go back behind the tower, collect up the creeps, and farm up the neutrals as well, just leaving FNG to right-click it and liquid fire it down. And there's not much Honey can really do to stop this, barring mass teleports like they did for the bottom tier 1 tower. But it's unlikely Na'Vi are going to be caught by that same trick again.
But I would still like to say, like, if Na'Vi should still be careful that they don't just feed away kills for towers, because then it's not worth it.
Right.
I mean, Fnatic are already moving top now. If they get like 2 kills here as well, then losing these towers is not that big for them, because then they're gonna have this Lee and experience. And Bench is only level 4 as a core, you know.
Yeah, this is Plasma Field doing a lot of damage, but Tumbo Man's going to come in and see what heroes he can pick off here. It should be at least Havost here. Doesn't look like anybody else is going to get caught. And just right-click him down. Nothing else they really Havost can do. So the attempt at killing that tier 1 tower, as you said, Misery, the rotations punish them. They don't even get the tower there. And if this continues this way, where they continue to give up kills in exchange for towers, it results in Fnatic being able to keep in pace with Na'Vi, still be able to fight them because they're not massively behind in gold, and eventually gain the gold advantage as they're able to push down some towers of their own.
Yeah. I mean, look at Havos's level. He's extremely underleveled.
Yeah, I don't know if that was 1 kill for 4 heroes rotating to top lane. So it depends. If they can keep the tower alive now and heal it up, then it's worth it. But they're just gonna go again, and they need to rotate all heroes in. But this time around, they don't have mana on Ember, and they have a TB on Void with Chrono actually, so they could do something. I think they will.
I don't think they should give this tower freely.
No, they definitely shouldn't.
They have the treads being picked up. Fnatic is already trying to take some of the creeps and allow an easier dive when the creep wave does finally push in. But they certainly are on alert right now, and I think you're right. I think Faceless Void is ready to teleport in. He's already got the TP scroll, and it's just farming bottom until the perfect time comes up. Vanscore, meanwhile.
They forced Lycan team mid.
Oh yeah, Dendy is actually going to have to pop his ultimate here, trying to get away, but he's just going to get right-clicked down. The damage burn, too much for him. Top lane, they are looking to go for a dive here. The double Ion Shell Wolves, oh my goodness, this is disgusting combination. The wall goes out, Kaine's curious positioning there. Trixie trying to hide himself in the trees as much as possible. Fnatic throws another Ion Shell onto the walls. Meanwhile, Boogie's already gotten his way in with the ultimate over the top. Is going to be able to stop that one with the Warlock ultimate at the same time. Fnatic didn't manage to get Trixie there and is now trying to chase down Trixie on the side. Boogie, meanwhile, is just taken out by that upheaval. Finally gets the time walk away. Trixie stealing some damage away from Fnatic. He's actually going to lose his life. They get the Treant Protector in return. Trixie now kiting around that golem. And it's going to be Havos, who's going to get run down by Matumbo Man, who managed to find himself a haste rune and could pick up 2 different kills off of this one. Vanscore is going to be up next. Ice Path completely whiffing there by FNG. Vanscore is going to just die to this burn damage, and FNG is going to go down as well as he just gets right-clicked down. Matumbo Man actually runs out of damage there as finally that Flame Guard runs out of time. But still, that was a huge pickup for the Ember Spirit, who picked up a lot of kills, and it's necessary for him to snowball off of these early kills. As you said, he's not an early farmer necessarily.
Yeah, this Ember Spirit haste rune is like, you know how many times I've seen. Oh,
Matumbo Man, he got swapped at the last second, now hit by the stun. If they can just block him out a little bit, they should be able to get this kill. Havos trying to keep in pace with the Ion Shell, slowly burning him down. The Surge, and he'll just walk him out. As the last hit goes to the Darkseer, and they'll once again try and push in the top lane. Bottom lane, though, Dendy does have his ultimate here in just a second, and should be able to get out, as I don't think there's going to be enough damage. Trixie has another Plasma. If he gets a right-click plus a Plasma Field, yeah, Dendy is going to be forced to pop his ultimate there, which is good enough for Trixie. Still, though, they will lose this tower in the top lane unless Mass Teleport's coming.
Yeah. But this Ember Spirit haste rune is probably the best rune in the game from obviously. It's there's so many like Cloud9 games I've seen where before they used to get some haste rune on this Ember Spirit and you just get like a triple kill, ultra kill. It's like this one rune, if you can get a good fight off with the haste rune on Ember, changes the game. He almost got a triple kill there.
Yeah, he was so close to being able to walk down FNG as well.
But I actually, I still don't understand why they chose to put Venge on the core here. I feel like it would have been a lot better to have like either the Warlock or the Jakiro just farming on the safe lane. You would benefit so much more. Also, than when you pick the stacks here, I really felt like that's a really random move. Maybe it's also because Vost likes to play this core Venge. That could also have something to do with it.
It seems like they did kind of split the farm a little bit. Like, they did give Vanscore time at the bottom lane to actually pick up his level 6, which obviously the hero really isn't much of a team fighter until he has that big ultimate.
Oh, they have to do that, the Warlock, or else his hero is just worthless. So,
I mean, maybe it was intentional. I mean, it didn't feel like it was intentional. It was more like because Avos died and then he just TP'd top right away to take the tower, just like last game.
Right.
I think it would have been fine if he didn't die bottom lane those 2 times. The first death was quite big. Like this Void is, I don't know, it's just hard to come back with this Void that gets so much. This offlane Void that gets like this treads and has close to 40 CS at 11 minutes.
Yeah, this is a really scary Void.
This is pretty risky here, but if they manage to pull it off, it's going to be a pretty big upset. Like, Dendy is currently doing Roshan. He snuck into the Roshan pit with the smoke, and it doesn't seem like Fnatic have any idea what's going on, as they are soon going to lose it. Trixie? Oh, does he sniff this one out? Just throw out a plasma field, Trixie. You could reveal it all, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it in time. Roshan will fall, and Dendy picks up not only the Aegis, but a ton of experience off of that. When he jumps from almost level 9 to now almost level 11 from that one Roshan kill.
Yeah, they needed that so badly. That's so big.
Yeah.
That's like
middle tower is under attack.
Game changing, definitely.
It really is. Like, he's almost 11. That's such a big step for Lycan to get 30 sec off that cooldown.
I think when you give Radiant Lycan, their number one protection is you can't give him Roshan. Like, that's the weakest thing about and you can't just like, if Lycan's missing on the map and you're playing Dire, you should always just be checking it as well, because you can stop it quite easily.
Yeah, I agree. I think a very good counter to Lycan when you give it away to Radiant is also that you just take yourself very early on.
Yeah.
So that the factor is out of the way. You can't go for Roche anymore. You don't need to worry about it because you have it yourself.
Well, going back to some of the farm here on the side of Fnatic, we have the Ember Spirit, who's going to be finishing up his drums. So the phase boot drums, the necessary stat items for the Ember Spirit, already up in the mid game. Trixie is also going to have his mech, and Boogie is going to be picking up a Mask of Madness here fairly soon, especially if they can pick off Dendy at the same time. They're chasing away some illusions, but we do have Matumbo Man reveals some of this, but it looks like Dendy just doesn't even care. Like, he's just sitting here.
Look at Hani's items.
Oh, the Roshan, they're going to be able to jump in on Havost. Already the Chronosphere will eliminate him real quickly with the Death Ward combination. The Chaos operating does what it can, but they're not going to be able to get any return kills. The rest of Fnatic just back themselves up under the protection of Hani's Voodoo Restoration.
And look at Hani, he actually bought the medallion, and he bought that. It's like, oh, I got some good gold, I can get this medallion, and we can get a Roshan early. But then Dendy came and took it, so.
Yeah, it all kind of turns into naught. Thoughts about Funix built here? He went ahead and grabbed himself a Hand of Midas. Is this really greedy from him? I mean, we're already kind of seeing that Na'Vi may not be able to take some of these early fights as well as we expected.
I don't think it's necessarily greedy. I think it's not
fine.
very good. I think it can pay out in the end, but it can also backfire in this game, I feel. Because right now they could use a mech and they could go mid with his Aegis.
The thing is, Havost went mech something. Maybe that's why he went.
Oh, he did. Yeah, that's true actually. Never mind. I guess then that's fine. I don't know what else you would buy for 2k gold like that.
What about like something like an initiating tool, like a Blink Dagger?
I feel like it's too early. I mean, he would only be level 9 without the Midas anyway, so
Right.
it wouldn't actually do anything.
Boogie held inside the upheaval right now. Havost going to be taking the chains to the face, and the tier 1 tower getting low. They're going to try and go for the deny. Don't manage to snag it. And now Matumbo Man is going to be chased away. At the same time, back down to the upheaval. Boogie's still being held here. Hani's also going to be slowed down. He jumps over. Both Havost and FNG going to be cleaned up real quickly by Matumbo Man, who gets that double kill with the chains, searing chains combination. And while they may have gotten that tier 1 tower, looks like Fnatic are going to be able to return the favor in the mid lane.
That's one thing I've noted. Fnatic, they play really well with this Ember hero. I think it's probably. I don't think Na'Vi really studied them or anything. I don't think they've looked at their recent drafts because they picked Ember in like every game. They're gonna get one more kill. Yeah.
Just like that, Matumbo Man is able to get the pick off on Van's core.
He's playing really well in this
actually.
round.
They could have almost gotten the other guy as well. But yeah, I feel like this is almost getting out of hand for Na'Vi at this point. Obviously, it scores 2-15, so that goes by itself. But like Na'Vi still has this wombo combo with Warlock, Twin Head, Dax here. So the game is not over at all, and they still have this really fat Lycan.
Yeah.
But I mean, this Fnatic draft. I mean, when they get ahead like this, then their draft is not.
Yeah.
And the draft is very strong. You know, it's the early game that they should be suffering, and now they're getting ahead into the mid game.
It's really hard to beat this Ember and Void once they get items up because they push these lanes out so fast. They have this Chrono ultimate, and it synergizes so well with the other heroes on Fnatic's team as well. It's going to be really hard for Na'Vi to really do anything. Like, what's this Warlock really going to do? This rock, he's going to throw it down, and he's still going to get Chronoed. His team's going to get Chronoed.
Right.
They can't really shut down this
At
Ember
this point,
as well.
this Chrono, I mean, this rock is just gonna die in the fights.
Yeah, that too.
Void can kill it in like 3 seconds with the Mask of Madness on in the Chrono, or like Razor can kill it. You know, it doesn't do anything. He kind of needs this Aghanims level alone. Maybe they can hit the timing then.
And Ember's somewhat close to his Battle Fury. Still not extremely close, but once he gets this, once this Ember hero gets maybe 2 Battle Furies, 1 Battle Fury, he does so much damage in the fights.
Radiant's bottom
Right.
tower.
It's going to be so hard for Dendy to push in because so much of his damage comes from summoning those extra units, where Matumbo Man actually is going to take advantage of that by the Battle Fury Sleight of Fist, where he actually gets a lot of extra damage on the creep wave and the heroes thanks to all those extra units he's hitting at the same time.
Another problem is they have nothing to really catch him as well. He can always just keep his Spirit behind. He can push out lanes infinitely.
Right.
He can play really, really cocky. Like, this is such a good Ember Spirit lineup for him to play versus this Na'Vi lineup. Because they have no way of really catching him.
Yeah, like
Jump
theory,
in,
the
Boogie.
way.
Gets a Chronosphere onto Macroplier at the same time. Vacuum goes out. They're trying to take down Trixie, but he's already soaked up so much damage, and he doesn't look to be dying anytime soon. Boogie actually gets turned around here as the upheaval holds him in place. Hani as well. It's going to be taken down by Dendy as he continues to go through these heroes. Trixie, meanwhile, traced away by the Golem. Dendy trying to catch up. Pavos as well. It's going to be looking for that Magic Missile stun. Will be able to get it. 3 heroes now down on the side of Fnatic, but Matumbo Man is still alive and well, and here comes the buyback as well. Witch Doctor goes out, but Matumbo Man got to be careful here as the physical damage rips right through through him, but
Wow,
Dendi
Hani.
no longer has that ultimate. Oh, and Cask bounced to the Havos. He finally gets off that ultimate. Hani will be dying a second time here, but Trixie now comes in for the cleanup. Na'Vi already lost so many heroes. It doesn't look like Fnatic. Fnatic is going to be making out, and now Dendi as well. As, well, he's going to try and teleport away real quickly, and Matumbo Man doesn't actually have enough for a chains. So no disables to be able to stop that one. That was a pretty decent fight for Na'Vi, all things considered. They got a lot of kills. The unfortunate thing was Matumbo Man, he got something similar, man, and he is going to have that battlefield really soon now.
He got so many levels off that too. He's level 14.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna hit level 15 soon. I think even though Fnatic bought back 2 heroes, I think they bought back on what, the Witch Doctor and the Razor. It wasn't that bad for them. Like, that was worst case scenario. Vanscore got a really, really good rock off there and a really good upheaval. So.
I guess like the only, like, at least that Lycan got out for Na'Vi. You know, if he had died as well in the end, it would have been like disastrous.
Right.
But he is really big actually. He has a Necro 3, so I mean the next fight is gonna be very deciding. For sure. If the next fight goes to Fnatic, then it looks really grim for Na'Vi. But on the other hand, if they win that fight, then Na'Vi might just take it right there, to be honest.
Fnatic is currently sitting here in the bottom lane. Looks like he's waiting for a teleport from somebody to maybe help out for the defense of this bottom lane. They have the upheaval combination. The vacuum goes in. Trixie's kind of held in place, and the wall of replica was used, but Trixie just simply teleports himself away. Meanwhile, the rest of Na'Vi will actually go for the push here in this middle tier 2. Once again, Paz is in a great position for a 3-man overgrowth, and Matumbo Man immediately goes in. He's a little bit deep here, but he's already gets off that sleight of fist. Now the Chronosphere, not the greatest positioning, and Matumbo Man is actually getting caught out by Dendi, who's trying to right-click him down. The Necronomicon goes off, and he finishes him down. Boogie also, barely gets the heal off in time. Still, though, Havos is able to finish him off. Dendi is shredding through these heroes right now. He gets another support. Is now going to go for Trixie Net, but his ultimate has just run out. Still, though, a 2-for-3 exchange, all because of that Chronosphere holding in the Ember Spirit while Dendi was outside of the Chronosphere results in his death, and without Matumbo Man, there is so much lost for Fnatic.
The Ember player must be quite annoyed at the Void there.
Yeah.
That was a really bad chrono. So.
And the end result is this tier 2 will fall. And Dendi and the rest of Na'Vi maybe have some glimmers of hope now, where it looked kind of hopeless.
That was a big fight. That was a big fight for them because they got the mid tower, and now they're gonna have they're gonna farm the enemy jungle for a little bit. They're gonna get some map control, and they're gonna go for top tower next. They have Warlock Rock as well. He has Blink.
Yeah, what about that? Like, the Blink Dagger for the Warlock, I can see how he could be really amazing, but at the same time, like, isn't Aghanim's just such a huge upgrade for a Warlock that don't you just kind of have to go for that?
I think he can't get chronoed in the fight. He has to stay back.
You could say that it's bigger being able to get your spells off, and with Blink, like there's no way you're gonna get caught before you get it off.
Right.
So I think that's obviously the reasoning behind going with that item, because you will have like a gap of 2.5k range, like where you are and where you're able to cast your spells. That's obviously pretty sick.
Yeah.
Na'Vi got a huge goal lead because of that, because they got the tower and I think 3 or 4 kills. They're up to 5k now. That was an insanely good fight from them, and he's so far ahead right now. He has he's going AC, and he has his book 3 and he has a plate mail.
Yeah, I think they needed to realize that they needed to focus this Lycan down in the Overgrowth and the Void Chrono. Because they can't just let him run around in his old form with Book and Wolves and stuff, and he will just kill 2 or 3 heroes in like no time.
Right.
So they need to use the Chrono and or the Overgrowth to either drain his damage or like try and take him down.
What about Havos built here? He has an ultimate orb. What is this actually building into? Is like, I don't see the linkage being necessary, so I guess
I think it's a Hex.
a Hex, yeah. They need the hard lockdown up against the Ember Spirit. You guys were saying that was what was really lacking, right?
That's actually, I think it's a good choice, to be honest. Like, they don't really need more damage as of right now. They kind of want to end the game within the next 10 minutes. And at this rate, if they take another good fight in the tower, then he will probably have it Hex. And then Ember Spirit with the Battle Fury, like, it doesn't even matter. He will just die in a second to 1 Hex.
Ember Spirit has already claimed that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane and will still be here for the fight, so it's going to be a big win if they actually get a successful fight off of this one. Boogie jumps in, gets a Chronosphere on 2. Dendi is still outside of it. He's immediately going to go for Paz, who is getting very, very low. The upheaval, though, is going to be stopped by the Treant ultimate. As he's able to get that off at the last second. Boogie now being chased down. Hani is forced to let go of his ultimate and throws out a cast at the last second. Bounces to Dendi, but he still will be going down. Boogie gets off a time walk after the swap goes out. And Matumbo Man, well, he got the Jakiro, but they certainly didn't win that fight. The tier 2 does fall, and Na'Vi looking to basically snowball off of one really good middle lane fight, and now have turned this into another good fight in the top lane where they've gotten themselves a tier 2. Last is left is this bottom lane, where if they have an Assault Cuirass, they could just rip through. They could just get that Scythe of Ice mixed in with the Assault Cuirass. You could see the potential of Dendi just ripping through that Ember Spirit so quickly. Ember Spirit is still very fragile to physical damage.
I feel their decision making, taking these fights is quite bad on Fnatic. They're gonna maybe go on this bench here.
Yeah, then she may have a mech, but he's got nobody nearby. And he's actually got his full drums coming out, but I'm not sure if that's really going to save him. Magic Wand, full charges, but still nobody around, and he will just be right-click down. The rotation in from the Darkseer. Not going to be here in time, and immediately Fnatic start pinging out the Roshan. They want to try and take advantage of that big pick-off.
I feel they can give up these tier 3s or these tier 2 towers and maybe just hold the base. They should be pushing the lanes out more with the other heroes. I feel this Void is, I think he's under pressure right now, like by these defenses. Like it's hard to get a perfect chrono off, and he's initiating a chrono.
If you look at that, if you look at that fight again, you will see Trixie linking the Lycan, and Lycan running away, and then right as Void jumped into chrono the Lycan, Trixie turned around, and then the link broke, and Lycan could turn around again, and then he missed the chrono on the Lycan. Whereas if he gets the chrono on the Lycan right there, he's out of damage after the chrono.
Right.
And they can actually start fighting there. They might even kill the Lycan in the process. So I think there was miscommunication. I think they had a opportunity there to take a really good fight. But I agree with Bob. I don't think they should take the fight in the first place.
What about this Roshan fight? It seems a little risky. Fnatic have brought Roshan down to about half health. And Dendi gets chained up. He's going to be forced to use his Necrobook 3 and chases away Matumbo Man at the same time. The rest of Na'Vi are ready. Here to try and initiate. They're going to go for the swap onto Hani, try and take him down real quickly, vacuum into the Macro Pyro Ice Wall. But at the same time, Boogie's held in 2 still. Again, Dendi is outside of this one. It's going to be held in by the Overgrowth. Matumbo Man does what damage he can with the Sleight of Fits, but it doesn't matter. Boogie is already taken out. Pause, right-click down as well. Matumbo Man and Trixie's Razor, the only 2 left alive. Trixie managed to barely get the kill there on the Darkseer. Vance Core should be able to catch out. Ultimate, does he drop it? Vance Core, the teleport away. Trixie, one run, like quick. Vance Core holds on to his ultimate and ends up losing the kill on Trixie because of it. Would that have been worth it for the Golem?
I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah.
I think that fight, I don't know, it's hard to say still, but I mean, they could just take a Rex with next book, I think, with this Chrome. I mean,
Vance Core, oh, he's going to drop the Golem onto Matumbo Man. Maybe not something he was expecting. Has another lunge jump away, but gets hit by the stun, and a big critical comes out from Dendi. They'll swap onto Trixie, trying to steal away some of that damage away from Dendi. Backs up, breaks the static link, now goes back in with the upheaval, slowing down Trixie. He just cannot get far enough away. And Dendi, one more right click, they just need anything here, but he actually managed to get himself away thanks to the extra bit of heal from Hani. He actually has just enough survivability to get himself away. Still though, they win the team fight and are now going to be able to turn their attention towards this tier 2. With the Chronosphere down, maybe they can still force this one down in the short period of time the Chronosphere is off cooldown.
That was way too aggressive there from the Ember. Quite greedy. Dendi's insanely farmed. He's gonna be close to 16, 17k net worth. Funnick as well, this Midas paying off. He has a Shiva's up right now.
Yeah, rare times do you see such a big gap between the first net worth and the second one, as Dendi is just completely... I mean, he's fully carrying the rest of his team. Sure, Na'Vi had pulled out a couple of good moves, but it was just more the fact that Na'Vi
I think it's overall the experience and the decision-making of the Na'Vi team is just far better than Fnatic. I think Fnatic had a chance to win this game, but the decision-making they're taking is... They're taking really bad fights. They're using their spells quite wrong, I think.
So they just kind of need to avoid team fights. Maybe go for pickoffs like this one where Matumbo Man has managed to find FNG. He does have a Yule Scepter as well as the Macro Pyre, but is just going to teleport himself away after that missed Sleight of Fist Chains combination.
Because another thing to note is when Na'Vi is pushing, they're showing everyone in the lanes when they're pushing. So the other lanes are quite free to farm. And they also, Na'Vi's team, they don't have any catch. So I feel Fnatic can push these lanes out quite far when Na'Vi pushes one lane. And they can get a good trade-off.
Top lane, they're going to go for the Trixie already vacuumed in. Matumbo Man gets off a good sleight of fist. Fnatic getting low, but is going to be chased away. Trixie slowed down now by the upheaval. Dendy will catch up with him, but the cask bouncing around is going to slow Dendy. Now the Chronosphere on top of that one, and they just lay into him. He does have an Aegis, but he won't have his ultimate here for this next fight. He's surrounded by 5 heroes. Fnatic is kind of forced away. The Ice Path, Macropyre on top of it. Dendy, though, is still going to be just right-click down. And Fnatic actually going for the kill on Trixie. Managed to get it solely because the melee Necronomicon minion does some extra bit of damage there on its death. And Fnatic gets himself away and even grabs a regen rune in the process. So that was definitely a great fight there for Fnatic, but Na'Vi still get some sort of response with a kill onto Trixie.
That was a that was a mega kill streak as well, so we got quite a bit of gold there on the Darkseer from that. So it wasn't that bad of an exchange, but still, you can see how fast they kill the Lycan if he gets chronoed off. Like what Misery said, it's the chronos just aren't hitting him in the last few fights, and they're losing because of it.
Yeah, this is with AC as well now. Like he goes for this book build. He is kind of squishy still. If he gets caught in the chrono back like 10 minutes ago, that is obviously. And even now, he still dies fairly easy.
So we got to talk about Havos now. I felt like I would have made a fool of myself when I almost said Scotty, and I was like, no, that's a terrible idea. Scythify is so much better. Havos is actually going to be going for the Scotty, excuse me. He's picked up that second ultimate orb.
What an item build. What do you think about that, Misery?
I don't know, man. Like he's gonna be very tanky at least, right?
Yeah.
And he's gonna hit hard too, to be honest.
It sounds
questioning
like
a
you're
bit,
dancing around the fact that you completely disagree with it.
I can. It's not that bad, honestly.
Yeah.
See
it's
the-
not that bad. I would say it's a lot of gold to invest in make drum into Skadi, but it's not bad. I mean, he can transition really hard into early game.
I mean, the concept is that he already does so much damage because of Howl, and then the aura just tanks up as well, and he has to slow.
Yeah.
So at least they no longer have to depend necessarily on Dendy. If he gets Chronosphered off, at least Havos might be able to fulfill those carry roles as they have grown more and more of a gold lead. Tier 3 tower, though, has already been taken down to below half health, and Fnatic need to mount a response soon here. Tier 3 already down. Now they're going to focus on this range racks. Fnatic need to make a jump in soon. Matumbo Man getting these pokes in and out, but now Boogie tries to make a jump. Actually, Chronosphere's 2 here, but none of the important heroes. Dendy's on the side. They can't really get to him. Trixie now going to be focused on Havos. Vacuum goes out. They get him with the wall. Upheaval, slowing down everybody. Dendy's going to go straight for Boogie. Time walk away is up for him as the Overgrowth holds Dendy long enough. Trixie, though, battling up against Havos. Can't win that man fight. Matumbo Man comes back, trying to focus on Dendy, but he gets a leap away. Pursues even further with his ultimate, but he doesn't have any other remnants. He can't actually pursue this any further. If they get into disables, Dendy comes back in for just a second, and now he's going to pay for it. The cast goes out. He's going to get right-click down, but at the same time, they're diving in pretty deep here. Trixie still gets stunned up. Havos goes in pretty deep, and now it needs to find some sort of way out of here, but he's just going to get chased down. Oh, Havos, what have you done? He pops the drums here, trying to get that extra bit of movement speed, but Boogie says, I got this, boys. I got the Mask Command. Oh my god, Havos turns around, backtracks, second one, no! Oh, Havos, at least he gets a kill in return, but they've been drawn away from the top lane where Fnatic, the Wolves, as well as the Golem are now trying to focus down this melee racks. Doesn't look like they'll get it in time, though, as the Golem will die. The melee racks, well, given enough time, it will regen back up to full.
Havos is entertaining as hell to watch.
Doesn't give a fuck, man.
Yeah.
You see him man up there on the guy's like, who the hell are you, Void?
Yeah. And Mask Command is popped, man. He is so squishy.
Yeah. But still, like even then the chrono wasn't that good. They still didn't get the Lycan in the chrono, and they still actually managed to win that fight. And December.
He actually got him chrono. He didn't deal damage.
There was just no potential for focus from Fnatic because he was so far away.
Yeah. Another thing to note is his battle free. He has 2 battle frees now, so this is where December's gonna have a fun game, man. This 2 battle free Lycan. I think even at it's just so hard to come back versus this 2 battle free Lycan. This battle free Ember. It's so hard to team fight. You just get cleaved to death.
It's hard to interface at least, and they only have lost their range racks, which is quite important for them. That kind of means that they're very much in the game still.
Right.
If they had lost like 2 sides, then it would have been battle frees would have still been good, but maybe a bit too late. But now it's gonna be actually hard because he can kill books. You know, if he gets a crit now, he can kill books in basically 1 hit, and he doesn't take damage from killing him.
Right.
And it is still a lot of their damage in the fights.
And we're soon going to also get an extra unit on the field. Like it almost seems like this Aghanim's upgrade for the Warlock is actually going to be really detrimental because you're making both the golems a lot squishier while also increasing the number of units on the field where that, again, that Sleight of Fist with the double Battle Furies is going to be able to benefit from that extra unit and the extra splash you get from it.
So I have a question. If you have Axe on Warlock, do you stun twice? Or is it still that one stun?
Bulba?
I have no idea, dude, man. You have to phone up AUI or some shit.
You guys are killing me.
Like,
I'm not even going to make a guess because, hey, I have two professionals here who don't know. So.
I don't think so. Maybe it does. Let's see.
Stunning enemy for 1 second. Number of golems 2. It's a good question. I don't know.
FNG, Yule Scepter, Ice Path follow up. There's nobody here though. So he's just, I guess, going to force Boogie to time walk out. Not even that is necessary though.
Radiant's
The rest
top
of his
tower
team,
is
I
under
mean, if they
attack.
actually followed FNG there, they could have had a really easy pickoff in the Void, I feel.
Radiant's
Yeah.
top tower has fallen.
That just wasn't the case.
Razor gets top tier, tier 1, so he's doing the right job actually. They should have been doing this quite a bit earlier. They should have been pushing the lanes out. So
And Dendi
Radiant's
is
top
apparently
tower
just
is under
going to
attack.
walk away from his keyboard here as he's just going to sit in the Roshan pit, slowly but surely meditating and contemplating how he's going to take on Roshan. Because
AUI actually doesn't know as well, so three players don't know.
all right, well, if AUI doesn't know, then obviously.
AUI doesn't know.
AUI said I have no idea.
What the fuck? Well, he actually doesn't get Axe, does he? He usually goes for like heals and stuff. I don't know. Whatever.
All right.
He
I mean,
doesn't know,
that
who
means
knows?
nobody could ever give me shit for messing up a mechanic, because I have 3 players who don't know whether or not Chaotic offering Aghanim stuns twice or not.
Dodo 2, man.
Dodo
Big
2.
game.
It's a tough, complicated
Okay, he
game.
just said it stuns twice.
Oh, Ice Path, not quite enough. Boogie barely got himself away from those heroes. Bottom lane Poss is doing some funky scouting.
Okay, I got confirmation that it stuns twice.
All right.
Okay, because otherwise it would have not been the best pickup for sure. Like you said, Cap. Like, but if it actually does stun twice, then it's still quite strong.
Yeah. Fnatic taking just a huge amount of damage there from right click, and Sleight of Fist from Matumba Man goes to show just how powerful he is now. Witch Doctor also getting an Aghanim's upgrade. Hani is very ready for this next Chronosphere. And they're still waiting on Roshan, by the way. Dendi is just holding next to this ancient area, continually waiting for it. It's finally going to come out now. FNG spots it out, but it's already so late into the game where they're sitting on this Roshan pit,
Radiant's
really
top
needing that
tower
Aegis,
is
really
under
needing that
attack.
cheese, but they're giving up so much gold in return. Trixie already gave the tier 1 at the top lane. He's now going to claim the tier 2 without any rotations.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I'm not
Aegis?
sure if they should have
Radiant's
actually
top tower
forced the
has
issue a little
fallen.
bit more before the next Rosh, because I'm not sure that Roshan does that much for them at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so, because they're giving it to this
Roshan
Lycan,
has
and when
fallen
Lycan
to
dies,
the Radiant.
They're giving it to Venge actually.
yeah,
but
that's a good idea. That's good.
It's better, but I mean now they give Ember a chance to get a crit now, and the Witch Doctor to get his axe, and you know Razor getting his BKB as well. So they actually got a lot of items from Navi just sitting and waiting for Rosh.
Right.
But the fight here will determine if it was worth it or not, pretty much, you know.
Yeah, they're going to have a Boast on the front lines here. He's going to be the one right-clicking down that tower thanks to the fact he's got the Scotty. He can afford to tank up some of this damage. Shadow Word also helping protect him, though. The Necrobooks just immediately lose their lives as you can see Matumbo Man is quick to clear through them. And Fnatic now, the full up, the swap into the Ice Path. This is beautiful. If they can actually hold him in, Matumbo Man will lose his life. The Golems go out. Immediate buyback from him. He's going to come right back in. Now the Chronosphere holding in Havos. At the same time, Denny's sitting outside. You've got the Wall of Discord going out. And the Aegis is going to pop here. FNG, Yule Scepter himself, trying to protect himself for the time being. Still going to right-click down. Havos comes back in. They're going to go for Boogie at first. It looks like the stun onto Paz, but he got off the overgrowth just in time. Dendy is going to be able to take him down real quickly, though. Boogie time walks himself out. At the same time, in the back, we have Matumbo Man as well. Trixie trying to focus down Vanscore. Barely able to keep himself alive, but Boogie comes in, cleans that one up. Trixie is in some trouble, but now the rest of the cores from the side of Na'Vi running out of some of their early ultimates and are just going to be chased away. Fnatic tries to get that last kill onto Trixie. The Golems right-click, not quite enough. They didn't get the Flaming Fist procs, And the result is Trixie, Fnatic will actually lose his life and doesn't manage to get the return kill onto Trixie. Meanwhile, Dendi, the only one who managed to get himself out of that team fight, didn't have to pop the cheese, but obviously huge win there for Fnatic off that buyback from the Ember Spirit.
Again, it's Faceless Void Dota. He got a pretty good chrono there. And they were managed to kill the Vents twice. Like Misery said, it's really hard right now for Navi to win.
Oh, Dendi is going to be forced to pop his ultimate and possibly consume the cheese as well. Eats it, turns around onto Matumbo Man, trying to slow him down, but already had another remnant to jump away. Boogie at the same time. Ice Path, do they have enough time? He's burned through all of his mana so quickly. Boogie will not have a time lock nor a Chronosphere to be able to add in, and that pickoff was important. They needed to be able to use that cheese for something better than just keeping Dendi alive. And at least they get that pickoff. 60 seconds, he does have a buyback as well as a Chronosphere. If they can get a pickoff on Matumbo Man, though, if they can kill this Ember Spirit a secondary time with no buyback, I think Na'Vi can actually just go right through the throne.
Yeah. Yeah, they have this one chance now that's really crucial for Na'Vi. But look at that Ember Spirit, he just crit. And the wave's gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Void was not even gonna have to buy back, it seems.
And they managed to force the rest of Na'Vi away. And what are we left with then? Just smoke pickoffs and trying to hope you find the Ember Spirit kill? Or what did Na'Vi need to do if they can't just 5-man down mid, which their whole entire lineup was kind of designed to do?
I'm not sure. I still think the Sheep Stick might have been a better item choice than the Scotty. I'm not so sure. They need something to pick off, right? Because Fnatic, they're actually playing quite well right now with pushing these lanes out, which they should have been doing earlier, I feel like. Navi's catch is just so bad without some Sheep Sticks or these Yules. And the Jakiro finally got Yules, but even before the Jakiro got Yules, their catch was quite weak, so the Sheep Stick might have helped them quite a bit. He went for Manta as well right after, so.
Well, Dendi is almost finished up a full Abyssal, so we have some additional lockdown. Again, if they can get another, like, swap Ice Path, now they have some additional lockdown with the Basher and soon to be Abyssal. Like, I could see how that finishing up for Na'Vi will give them some big upgrades, but again, it's just all about Fnatic just kind of playing their lineup right and making sure they keep the distance on this Ember Spirit.
Right. Yeah.
We have right now a 12,000 gold lead for the side of Na'Vi and a experience lead that has actually dropped down to almost going in Fnatic's favor, despite the fact that they may have a very large gold lead on the side of Na'Vi. Fnatic still holding the better late game thanks to an Ember Spirit, Faces Void, as well as even a Razor. Hell, even Witch Doctor and Dream Protector are very good supports this late into the game. This Overgrowth seems to be destroying Dendi quite badly. Does he need
Witch
a
Doctor
BKB?
is really good. The ultimate on Witch Doctor level 16 with Ags is insanely strong. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen it yet, right? Where he's 16 with the Ags.
No, last time it was like 15.
But with the 16, it's probably one of the best spells in the game. So.
We do have another big upgrade coming in for Na'Vi very soon here. The full up Aghanim Scepter for the Darkseer, which obviously is not as good as you would normally like to see it. Obviously, Ember Spirit, a lot of his damage comes from the Sleight of Fist as well as the Faceless Void, but if he can get a really good Wall of Discord, a Wall of Replica, they can just chew through some of those heroes. Again, more opportunity to burst down this Ember Spirit if he's caught out.
Warlock needs to save his golem for the Witch Doctor ult, potentially. Stay the fuck back and then wait for Witch Doctor to throw his ult and then immediately throw the rock down in his face. Because that is like actually a lot of their damage in fights.
Right.
If he gets a full duration Witch Doctor ulti and they get Chrono on 3 or 4 people, and Rock is used before that, I think it's gonna auto win that fight instantly.
Yeah.
All the heroes are just gonna melt.
FNG chains doesn't actually hit him there. FNG did lose a chunk of his health there from just that one Sleight of Fist.
That
And
was actually very scary. He could have healed him there and potentially gone for it because the backup was coming.
you're still going to see them. They get some vision with the Wolves. Don't think that we're going to be seeing anyone in range, though. Havos is a bit too far back for a swap. And Pos actually jumping in. Yule Scepter goes out. Ice Path over the top. Looks like they're just going to try and get this one kill real quickly while still backing themselves up, not being in any real danger. And that's successful so far. Hani actually drops the ultimate there. That might not be the greatest. He gets vacuumed down. The Warlock ultimate gets thrown out as well. The swap, Hani in some terrible positions here as the rest of Na'Vi just back themselves up. 2 quick kills on the supports. Sure, they dropped the golems, but at the exact same time, this may be just enough power for them to be able to either take this fight or at least get this melee racks. It's already down. Matumbo Man trying to spam out whatever sleight of fist damage he can at the time, but Fnatic, after what was, as you guys were saying, really good positioning, they were making all the right plays, and just one big error like that, and they're left really exposed as neither one of those supports have the ultimates, or have buybacks. And we've talked about how important those ultimates are for these team fights, both the Overgrowth versus Dendi, and obviously that Witch Doctor ultimate being so much damage.
But I don't understand what just happened there. Like,
Me too.
what the hell? Like, what happened?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that was very strange.
It seemed
Thank
like...
God they only lost 1 Rax though.
Yeah.
Oh, the swap. Oh, what? The ice path.
That was
Barely
such a-
missing. They have a Yule Scepter onto Trixie. Vacuum's going to miss here. Chronosphere going to hold in 2. They're going to go for Hobos at the same time. Denny's going to be forced back away from that static link. These tanky heroes are not dying just yet. Trixie's just running around with his BKB. Now going to get right click down, but Tumbo Man gets off a huge sleight of fist and is about to go in for a second one. Denny is already low. He's going to be forced back here. The Cask bouncing to him. Also going to get Hobos. And it looks like Denny's just going to be abandoned here as the Cask continues to bounce around. Hobos and FNG may both be going down because of that one. It looks like FNG should be chased away. The teleport away just in time by the Warlock. The exact same time, Fnatic trying to save his ally, or at least claim the gem here. Surges in, grab the gem, get himself away, manning up like that. Paw's already blocking up the exit though. Fnatic just needs a little bit of time here in order to get his Blink Dagger, and he should have enough distance now. And just Boots travels himself away. But still though, that is a Daedalus picked up by Matumbo Man. They also got a kill on Dendi, and if they can manage to force him to buy back here, it'll be a pretty damn big win for Fnatic.
Okay, so basically all Fnatic needs to do, and that is before last fight as well, like last losing this top ranks, they all they need to do is just keep their base up, because they need to sit in base and just wait. So Impa gets another big item. And there's like almost no way Na'Vi can win the game. But I mean, already now they're gonna actually get a counter Rex, it seems.
Most going in pretty deep here against Matumbo Man. He's going to start right-clicking him down. No buybacks whatsoever from the side of Na'Vi. The swap goes off, and Fnatic tries to join his ally, but seems like mass miscommunication here. Vengeful Spirit is going to buy back, and they actually with... Okay, maybe that wasn't a miscommunication. I was just wondering where the buybacks were, but Havos kind of suicides in there, delays Fnatic long enough, and then pops a buyback of his own. And he essentially saves Dendi's Abyssal Blade because of that.
Yep. It was. I mean, that was a good move. That was good. Still, I mean, they forced a buy out there for Fnatic.
True.
And like Misery said, guys already up to 2.5k. It's so hard
They
right
don't need
now.
a Rex right now. That Rex does nothing for them, to be honest. Like,
Right.
it would have been nice for them to get the tower finished down just for the gold, but they don't need to win the game right now. They
Look at
have
Fnatic's
this.
HP. Insane.
Yeah,
That was
just-
one sleight of fist.
One sleight of fist inside of a creep wave, and he already goes down to half health. Matumbo Man is in danger of being picked off right now and makes the leap away. Unfortunately for the side of Na'Vi, it was daytime, and he had plenty of heads up when Na'Vi were getting close. Still, though, Dendi is, I mean, I'm presuming with that buyback being used by Vengeful Spirit, it means that Dendi really wants his Abyssal Blade, and he's going to fully commit to it, meaning we're not going to have a buyback here for the side of Na'Vi on either one of their big carries, neither the Vengeful Spirit nor Dendi's Lycan.
Misery, do you think Lycan should buy the Abyssal Minion or just save for buyout? In your opinion?
I think they might buy the Abyssal and then go for the last try kind of thing. I don't know if they feel like it's that bad. They could also just keep farming actually and get more items on Venge, get that Hex on someone and try and take this further late. I think
I felt this
they-
game would have been a lot different with the Hex though. I don't know.
I agree. For sure.
Vost is very far forward here in this middle lane. I suppose he does have some backup coming in, but he's certainly got to be wary of his positioning. Another Roshan that Na'Vi is going to be waiting on, and they are going to try and claim it here, but the Remnant is sitting from Matumbo Man. He's always trying to keep some vision inside of that pit at all time, and you said earlier he's at 2,500, now he's at 4,500. He's almost at a point where he can pick up an additional item. What do you go here by the Ember Spirit? Like, do you actually go a defensive item?
I mean, he might consider BKB, but I think as long as you have buyback ready, you can also just go for this super glass cannon build.
Right.
Get another Daedalus or this. Yeah, I guess another Daedalus or BKB. I'm not an Ember Spirit player myself, so I have
I think
no
think
idea.
BKB is good.
Yeah.
That way
Actually,
at
no,
least gives
that's
him a
true.
little bit more battle, so he doesn't have to worry about just being caught out by one disable and taking down instantly off of that one. It looks like Fnatic are done with farming. They've got a double damage on the Ember Spirit. What better time to 5-man smoke and look for a pickoff than now?
That's a good move. They're gonna
They're going to
get
get
profit
it
from
too.
it. Yeah.
Dendy tries to get himself away. Boogie's going to hold him in with the Chronosphere, and this is looking real bad. It's already one-sided fist, making it real dangerous. Havos actually gets the swap onto Boogie there. The golems are going to be dropped. Dendy trying to get himself away, but doesn't manage to get out. He does have a buyback, though. Already buying back. Havos fighting up against Matumbo Man, almost able to finish him off. Not quite enough damage, though. Matumbo Man will live with his double damage. Managed to get himself away. Funnick now trying to be the only survivor of this team fight. Dendy's come back with his buyback, but without his ultimate, it's hard to see how he's going to be able to make this worth it. And looks like they just secured themselves Roshan, which means Aegis Cheese as well. And it's the possibility of Fnatic finally going in for a 5-man push down the middle lane.
Did you see what happened there, by the way?
Yeah, he
The swap?
misclicked the void, right?
Yeah. Havos misclicked and he actually swapped the void out instead of the Lycan, and then Witch Doctor ulti just bounced between both of them in the chrono, and they just kind of basically lost the game there. I feel maybe not lost the game, but they lost their lead.
Yeah, they're certainly going to be on the ropes from here on out. The only saving grace is still that top lane is continually pushing in, but if the team fights were bad enough before, now they have to fight through both an Aegis, a Cheese, as well as various buybacks on Fnatic. It's hard to see.
Dude, that's a rapier.
Oh my god, Funnick is trying to get himself away. He's already been hit by the cast. He should be able to get himself outside of the range, but you're right. Divine Rapier with the Aegis being picked up at
And
pretty much the
the
same time.
That's some brutal stuff.
This is what Ember Spirits do.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
One
that's
versus
brutal.
5.
But also, like, Dendy bought back that last fight and bought BOTs.
Mhm.
And I don't know, you can't stress how much that hurts a Lycan having BOTs instead of shreds this point in the game when he's not even close to being 6-slotted, and it's not really for split pushing or anything like that. It was just now he has BOTs and it's 30% less attack speed and less HP and stuff. And he's like so far away from Abyssal, so it's really big.
Felt like that Abyssal would have been the potential saving grace for Na'Vi, being able to have that extra lockdown for just
Yeah,
the
I could
Lycan,
see
but-
if he had Abyssal that fight and Havo swaps out the Lycan,
Mhm.
and starts hitting people and maybe ends up abyssaling the Emperor Spirit, it could have been a completely different game right now.
But now we're left with the Divine Rapier on Matumbo Man. He's got himself pretty much 6-slotted from here. He could go for Boots of Travel. I really would love to see a BKB, honestly, just because I'm so afraid of him just being just one disable, taking him down once, and another disable to take him down a second time, and all of a sudden that Divine's on the deck. But Refresher has been finished up by the Razor as well, so the carry duty is not only on the Ember Spirit. With double Eye of the Storm, Trixie is a pretty threatening hero right now as well.
I don't understand. Another thing is even Funnick. I felt he could have went the Sheepstick instead of the Sags.
Yeah.
I feel they just undervalue this item because, in my opinion, you have to buy a sheep versus Void in the late game. It's really hard to beat this Void hero if you don't buy a sheep and you can burst him down.
Right.
Because first to
Ooh,
backtrack.
Mansor. Not the offensive blink he wanted to be making, and he's going to lose the gem off of this one. He tries to pass it off, but it is not going to be going into the jungle. It's quite open. Top push is going to be coming in from Dendy, trying to force a lot of these heroes from the side of Fnatic to back up, but he gets caught by the Chronosphere, and now the extra teleport's going to come in. They're going to try and lock down Dendy as long as possible. Already the time lock is making it so difficult for Dendy to manage to get himself away. Overgrowth over the top, and they don't even need the Ember Spirit as they're going to lose down 3 different ultimates just to finish off Dendy, and he does not have a buyback. He's dead for 2 minutes now, and Fnatic are on the verge of just being able to win this game. They're going to go for a Havos here, teleport away. And he will get himself out, but as long as they don't lose anybody to silly reasons or even get some additional pickoffs, the attempt, not going to make it. Funnick, one last right click, and Matumbo Man now sitting at the dominating spree. 24-45. Dendy down for another 80 seconds, 75 seconds on the Darkseer. He does have a buyback, but it doesn't seem like that's really going to make much of a difference.
Oh, man, faceless Void. You can buy an Axe and a BKB and you can solo kill a Lycan. You can take him down to half.
I'm think at one point in this game, Navi had to be the ones
Radiant's
initiating
middle tower
the
has
fights,
been
because
denied.
it's a problem when Void jumps in and Chronos 2 or 3 of your heroes. Whereas they had the swap initiation where they actually killed the Ember. At that point he had buyback and they chose to stay around. But yeah, anyway, we have a fight again.
Yeah, now the Chronosphere gonna lock down Fnatic, but that's all. Meanwhile, actually, Trixie's kind of surrounded here. The golems come out, but Matamba Man quick to be able to clear through those ones. Buggy is gonna start going for Havos. Gets hit by the cast. Vanscourt's gonna lose his life, and in exchange, trying to save Havos, but it's not gonna be enough. He's still gonna be taken out by Trixie, and the Veil actually goes out, but it's not gonna do enough. Upheaval slows them all down. Fnatic still managed to get themselves out. 25 seconds until Dendi is back up. But Fnatic should be able to finish off at least this mid-racks in the down period, especially with Havos down as well. There goes one set of racks, another 10 seconds. They can even go the bottom lane real quickly. In fact, they can just finish this game up right here, right now. With all this extra Divine Rapier damage, I have no idea, even with the Vengeful Spirit and Lycan up at the same time, how Navi could have actually won this fight.
It's insanely hard. I don't know what Navi can do.
Oh,
Ember just one shot
Jesus.
the supports, man.
FNG just gets casually one-shotted by Matamba Man, who gets off a critical. And that's enough. A 1,500, almost 1,600 damage critical.
Yeah. It's sad to be a twin hit at this point in the game.
Radiant structures are
And the
fortified.
smoke from Vanscore. Not sure what that's really going to do. Dendi's trying to push out the middle lane a little bit, but they're going to lose the tier 3 now. And they can't afford. I mean, at this rate, they're just going to lose their whole entire base while waiting on the Jakiro and the Vengeful Spirit. But it seems like they're going to try for one last drastic team fight here. And just lose all of the Raxes while they wait.
I mean, they maybe need to get this Aegis, this Rapier off the lake. Then get the Rapier on the Lycan, and they have to go Throne. It's the only way I can see them winning.
Yeah, killing Embers twice at this point seems, without yourself dying, seems pretty hard.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
They're going to go for it soon. Havos is already back up. The FNG as well is going to be up in just a second. Trixie's going to pop his BKB. And we already see the Ember Spirit making his exit through the middle lane. Trixie, meanwhile, is tanking enough to be able to beat into Havos. Pops the cheese, going to be able to heal back up quite extensively. And there goes Chronosphere. Hani still loses his ultimate, though. But with just those two heroes right next to each other, the Ember Spirit makes short work of both of them. Now Havos pops his Manta, but it just adds in some extra sleight of fist to targets. And there goes FNG. Havos, meanwhile, swapped his way out of that one. It's going to turn on to Trixie. Can't even finish up that kill. And Fnatic, after what was one hell of a stomp in game 1, come back into game 2. 52, almost 53 minutes into this game, and managed to claim it. Push it to a game 3 up against Navi.
Oh. The Ember played really well there, as well as Trixie also did quite a good job on Razor.
So well done by Fnatic, and it is going to be a late night tonight. We had our last American game for the ESL 1 actually get postponed, but it seems like we're going to be here for a while longer still. As 10:30 night, we're going to be jumping into Game 3, so stick around, guys. ESL 1, New York, a European qualifier. One last game for the night.